Hey there, hello there, it's Jack Cutter Diamond with yet another Degrassi video, and today is Saturday, December 7th, 2019. Now, I do apologize in advance because this video was supposed to be recorded on Friday, December 6th. Unfortunately, because I was at work and all that, I had no opportunities to do it. So, of course, I feel guilty about this. So anyway, the point of this video is that yesterday, which was Friday, December the 6th, was an important day in Canadian history because on that date, in 1989, a man by the name of Mark Le Pen took out 14 women who were all part of the engineering program at l'École Polytechnique, or, if you don't know French, Polytechnic School in Montreal, Quebec. So basically what ended up happening was that Le Pen allegedly split the men and the women up, told the men to leave the class, and then pointed at the women and shot 6 of them dead, and then he shot indiscriminately at women and killing 8 more on top of that. So we had 14 tragic members of the community, Montreal community die because of some stupid guy who was basically pig-headed and a chauvinist and all that. That incident was supposed to change gun laws in Canada. Unfortunately, it didn't do as well as it should have. And the rifle that Le Pen used to kill those women and himself is more easily accessible nowadays in Canada, and that's kind of wrong. So anyway, what ended up happening is that, there were a lot of people saying that, it was just chauvinistic and all that, which is true. I mean, you go after women, but you don't shoot any men. But it's like, maybe the man probably would have protected the women, and then Le Pen probably would have done what he did. So basically, this incident is why December 6th is Women's Violence Prevention Day and all that. Now, of course, you're going to be asking yourself this question. What does this have to do with Degrassi? And I know that a lot of my subscribers don't really care about the Degrassi stuff, but, because I've been doing the Degrassi video stuff for more than a year, I figured that I at least owe them that bit of confidence. And besides, I have a lot of people in the Reddit community that like my Degrassi shit. So anyway, what ends up being is Women's Violence Prevention Day and all that. And with Degrassi, I'm like, well, violence against female characters, like physical violence. Emotional violence, not too much, but, all that. So, of course, it popped in my head because if you're a Degrassi fan like myself, in season 3 of Next Generation, Rick and Terry got together. Rick was a loner who was trying to find a girl. Terry was a girl trying to find a guy because all her friends, like Ashley, Paige, and Hazel, had guys. So what ends up happening is that, Terry's with Rick, but Rick accidentally abuses her outside school grounds. The first time. Now remember, the coma was not the first incident with Rick and Terry. But anyway, Rick did something to Terry, and Terry, of course, broke it up with Rick, and then after a while, Rick and Terry are put together in a trust exercise. But Terry and Rick be together. Rick basically thinks he's changed, but there are signs he's not. Paige and Spinner tried to tell Terry differently, but Terry doesn't believe it. Rick runs off when Paige insults him. Terry goes after him. Rick and Terry are arguing. Rick is saying, why are you taking Paige's side? She's a jerk and all that. Terry says, please, Rick, just calm down. Well, they go on like a road trip, but Rick accidentally pushes Terry, and Terry's head hits a rock and knocks her out. Back of the head, blood oozing everywhere. Rick is like with blood on his hands. Paige and Spinner try to find Terry and Rick. They find Terry on the ground and Rick with blood in his hands, and Rick runs off into the woods. But Paige and Spinner decide to call 911 for Terry. So, of course, Terry's in a coma. Paige and Spinner are basically mad that Rick is getting away with murder, in a sense. So anyway, they go to the hospital. Terry's dad actually yells at them for the fact that you knew Rick was a psycho and you didn't tell me and all that. Although Terry's dad did admit that he was mad and all that. Paige and Spinner understood. But anyway, the fact of the matter is that what Rick did to Terry was wrong. And like physical violence and all that put her in a coma. Terry was off the show. The actress Christina Schmidt actually wanted to do some fashion designing and modeling, and all that, which is nice. And of course, people forget that Terry, when Christina Schmidt went to high school, she went to Waterloo Oxford District Secondary School. And guess who's an alumnus of Waterloo Oxford School? This guy, that's right. Me and many other friends. But anyway, yeah, I'm an alumnus of Waterloo Oxford District Secondary School. I don't think I saw her that often. But, she went to Waterloo Oxford. That was nice. Anyway. So, yeah, the violence against women thing. I could yammer on and on about, Rick coming back in season 4 and basically getting an anti-Rick rhetoric on him. But, this is not the point of the video. The point of the video was that I wanted to share with the Reddit community about the violence against women thing. Heck, that domestic violence orange ribbon campaign was also big. But they don't do orange ribbons on December 6th. They do white ribbons. So, yeah. So, I asked in the Reddit community, important thing, just click on this, and I said, this was what I did yesterday. I said, today may be an ordinary day, but December 6th is big, because it's Women's Violence Prevention Day. A little background on this. 30 years ago in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, of course, our American Reddit uses, so I add the country for context. A male student did the atrocity of shooting and killing 14 female engineering students because of being a bleeping chauvinist who thought women were not meant to be engineers. The topic of violence against women, women's violence prevention has come a long way in 30 years, but it got me thinking about incidents in Degrassi's history that women got hit with acts of violence. And without a doubt, Rick's crime to Terry in season 3 was by far the worst. I know probably that Fiona may have had something done to her by Bobby to do with violence. Not too sure, but main question is this. Were there other examples of unwarranted violence against any female character on Degrassi other than Terry? And I got some responses. Rod and Princess said that Jane's storyline had a lot in it. Her father in the football team. Which is right. Which is true. Yeah, Jane's father didn't really give her physical violence. I think it was more sexual violence because Jane actually learned that her father tried to have his way with her when they were kids, and basically when they go to bed and all that. It's in season 8 called Jane Says. The whole 2-parter tells about Jane's father sexually molesting Jane and how Lucas didn't seem to care about it. But Lucas does come around and said that he feels rotten and all that. And I mean, it would have been nice to see if Lucas had changed or something, but they knocked off his character after that episode. So anyway, Soft Skeleton SX said that Vince and Bianca, as far as minor incidents in the storyline, it's got to be Alex's mom with an abusive drunk boyfriend. So Vince and Bianca, that's right, because Drew and Bianca were involved in each other, and basically they ended up hurting somebody. Killing one of Vince's gang members by accident. Of course, Drew takes the fall because Bianca would never have been told that you did this by accident. Because I think the police had it out for Bianca, and the fact that, they probably wouldn't buy Bianca's story that it was just accidental and self-defense. So anyway, yeah, so Vince and Bianca, because Vince forced Bianca to do some crazy stuff. I think he was trying to get at Drew and trying to make Bianca like a hostage and try to get at Drew and all that. Of course, Alex's mom having drunk boyfriends. Well, yeah, Alex's mom always had drunk, abusive boyfriends. Alex points that out in season 4, saying that you don't know anything about domestic violence, telling that to Emma. And she goes, you don't help your mother to sleep and ice her lip or whatever and all that. So Hyper Izumi said, quote, I watched through junior high and high for the first time this year. So the first thought that came to mind was Kathleen and even Allie in Next Generation. And then Soft Skeleton added on to that comment by saying that Kathleen's was the most compelling to me because of her home life. It was very realistic that she would fall prey to an abusive relationship. Because if memory serves me right, Kathleen had an alcoholic mother and all that. But anyway, the actor who played Scott actually was a scumbag in real life. And I remembered that. Dang. Yeah, Kathleen and Scott from the Degrassi junior high and high days. Fiona's ex-boyfriend, said Little Tor. Bobby Breckenridge. What's the name? And Sweet Jill said, Allie's abusive ex, Leo. Because Leo was in Paris and basically was abusing her and all that. He was trying to get a relationship so that he could go back to Canada with Allie. But it failed miserably. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. I really wanted to keep it short and sweet this time and not make a full-blown video. So yeah, so anyway, violence towards women is definitely wrong. I know there's been great strides in the past 30 years to fix this, but it's not 100% complete. Women have more power nowadays and all that, and they won't be afraid to use it for the common good. So anyway, there are lots of great organizations to deal with violence against women and all that. If you know someone who has been victimized by violence or is victimized by violence, please, under no circumstances, stay silent. Just either talk to them and get them the help they need, because it will be great in the long run and they don't have to suffer it. So anyway, thanks for watching today, and more Degrassi videos to come later in the month.